How y'all doing? If you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. I'm gonna try to do more board games at a time because I'm absolutely inundated with them at the moment. And just doing like two and another item isn't allowing me to knock down my pile quick enough. I'm doing 5 today. Or just try to do them quicker than usual. Same video length, but more stuff. But anyways, so we spent $6.40 on this. We got 2 versions of Clue, another Dixit, which is good because I sold the last one already, a game called Unlock, and then a really old deluxe Uno. I don't know anything about these two. I know that works, and that always works. So let's bust out the clues first. Alright, so the 4 games we always buy for parts: Clue, Life, Sorry, and Monopoly. So Clue we buy for the cards and the weapons and the tokens. So weapons and tokens are one sale, cards are another sale. So, not really a lot has changed with the game. Modern one has more cards. So the cards seem to kind of just sell. Oh, nice, bag. I always use those. Cards seem to sell pretty much equally. Last time I did a modern Clue, however, I didn't have all the cards. What the hell is this? Wait a minute. Well, I don't think they have Colonel Mustard anymore. Ah, nah, they got Peacock. Miss Peacock there. Yeah, they just kind of zazzed them up a bit. What I'm looking for here are all the weapons. It's the last several clues I've bought, I've been missing the lead pipe. And it makes it problematic when I have a whole bunch of not the lead pipe. Can't do a lot with it. As I say that, okay, we got a pipe, we're good. So this is the modern one. All the stuff is the same. They do occasionally change things, but this has like the old like revolving barrel gun. Alright, so we got cards, one set of weapons, we got a bag, we need that. Let's check the cards real quick, see if I got everything. They've also changed the rooms because people don't have billiard rooms anymore. Go figure. Now it's a game room, a garage, which of course didn't exist in the other world. Which is weird because lead pipes aren't even a thing anymore. So they could have upgraded it to a copper or PEX. It just went straight to PEX, the Ferris wheel. Course. I think this has like some resort stuff. It has like additional areas. So we got our 6 people. We have 3 cards. We have so I think it's the board flips over and there's like 6 more things. Yeah, so that looks right. So we got a set of cards, we got weapons, envelope. That's 2 listings. Oh! We didn't have any pieces. They're definitely not in there. They're flat out not here. Yeah, it's supposed to have pawns. So that's weird. Oh, whatever. Not a biggie. Then we got a slightly older, I think this might be 2002 edition. This one, instead of pawns, has these figures. I don't think I've actually completed a figure set, but that means I have loose guys. I don't know if those sell individually for any. We got our cards again. We got a pen. It doesn't work. Somebody was in the middle of a game, apparently, and they decided to give it away. All right. Alright, so this is the standard game, so it's going to have 6 people, 6 weapons, 9 locations. Got all that, so we have another card set, an envelope. Alright, don't tell me I'm missing a lead pipe again. You gotta be kidding me. Oh. But I do have the tokens. I have all of these, so I can see what these are going to go for. Because you could just, you could do the original game with these. It makes it a little more fun, I think. Tell me there's a pipe in here. Why the pipe? Oh, there it is. It's in the corner. I guess the pipe, it like that, it could just kind of roll out. All right. So let's total this up. So, listed, adjusted some listings, relisted some stuff. So I already have one of these, just changed my quantity and put volume pricing on. Never listed one of those, just threw that up there. Turns out I did have a complete one, sold it, reactivated that listing. I was out of these, so now I got 2. That's why I like to keep this rolling. This may not seem like I make a lot of money doing this. And you know, honestly, I would starve to death if this was my job. But it's passive income. I just have running listings of all this stuff, and I keep adding to it, and it goes out the door, and sometimes I run out, sometimes I end up with 10, 15 of something. But the fact is, I double my money constantly. And that adds up. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easy, right? Spent less than $4. We got 15 bucks. I paid for that, obviously. That's after shipping. So, just easy money coming in all the time doing this. Requires very little effort, and the other part of always keeping it rolling is, you know, listing this stuff is tedious, except that I just have listings already. I just reactivate old ones if I sold out. I change quantity. So pausing that and listing everything took probably less than 3 minutes. Packing this stuff up to sell it takes about maybe 2 minutes. You know, I do it all at night, do all my packages, have cut up envelopes to put stuff in, got a system, got label printer and all that jazz. This just goes in a bin of clue parts, and we keep it going. All right, next up we got Dixit. Dixit is one of the few board games I buy with the intention of selling it complete, because it always sells. It always sells within a few days. It has a 50% sell-through rate. I'm concerned because this one's very light, but I paid $2 for it. And I previously sold the parts, and I think it sold in 12 hours. Because I was the only guy selling parts. So, last one I sold was like last week. And I sold it for 18 bucks plus shipping, so picking it up for $2, no brainer, right? But again, it's very light. There's some counting involved. There's 6 rabbits, 32 voting chips. The last one I picked was unpunched. I didn't think I was going to get that. And I think it's 84 cards. So I do have to count some stuff, but it's kind of well organized. So I'll just count it up real quick. Alright, so unfortunately I'm missing one single piece. I'm missing one of the voting pieces, so you can run it as a 5-player game with no consequence whatsoever. But whatever, it's not complete, so I can't list it at complete price, so I'm going to list it at 14 plus shipping. So the overage on shipping pays for my fees, so that's what we got there. All right, let's look at this weird card game here. All right, so this is called Unlock Secret Adventures, Tombstone Express. I looked on the back. It's a strategy card game, little box, easy to ship. It was 50 cents. Didn't even bother looking it up. It was 50 cents. Who cares, right? Let's see. Cooperative card game inspired by escape rooms. Search the scenes, combine objects, solve puzzles. Comes with a rule book, 60 cards, cardboard tokens, but doesn't say how many. And it's tape shot. Okay. Should have expected that. So some of these do really well, some don't. At 50 cents, doesn't matter. I learned something about it. And so do you, right? So talk about board games and stuff like this. You're looking for categories, and the categories are games that are playable, games that are collectible, and parts for the other two. I deal with a lot of parts because it's easy. Stuff like this can tend to be playable. People want it. I don't like that that's not there. So before we dig into it, strategy games, stuff like strategic card games can't really be replicated on a computer. It's something you have to sit down and play. That's why it holds value. What you find with stuff like this, a lot of this stuff is from Indiegogo, Kickstarter. People want to make a game, they don't have the money, people fund it. A lot of times it takes so long for these things to come out. By the time they come out and the person gets the thing they funded, they don't even want it anymore. I would say 50% of the time that I get something like this, it's brand new. It's never been opened. So I kind of am getting that vibe by the fact it's not filled in, but I could also just be missing everything. So we got a bullet. We got more bullets. It may just be missing everything. We'll see. Hoping to find out what it's supposed to be in here. I'd guess I'm supposed to have 6 bullets. Not historically accurate. Some revolvers had 7, some had 5. Some modern ones have 4. But we're going to guess 6. That kind of makes sense. 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6. I'm going to guess these are holders for said bullets. So we should have 6, and I do. Then we're going to have 60 cards. These are numbered, so that's good. And there's also rule cards. That's there's 10 of them. H, okay, that's C. I don't know. Open wagon. Rules. 35, I don't know. What are we? Okay, 1 out of 10. 3, 4, 10, 2, 6, 7, 9, 8, 5. Okay. And there's that. Without knowing anything about it, we got some desperados, we got some guy, probably a drifter, homeless. I nailed that. Must be weird to be homeless back in a time when you could just go anywhere in the country, like west of the Mississippi, and just put a house there. Like nobody's even gonna figure it out. Alright, so we're gonna have to go through these and figure out if I got the whole game. I went through it, and to the best of my knowledge, it is complete. I have all the cards are numbered, so that's pretty easy. And then I have those tokens. So let's see if this is actually worth anything. Of note, this is an escape room style game, which means once you play it, you don't really get to play it again because the answer is the same. That's why you do run into these a lot at thrift stores, and I don't fuck with them, because the idea of a discardable game means if we're following the rules of supply and demand, your supply is going to keep going up because people discard the games after they're done. So, anyways, we got 1,100 of this game. So this guy apparently figured something out. Of note, this came out in 2018. So that's when board games kind of popped off because people were stuck inside. Did I sell something? Hold on. We'll do things. I don't know. We'll look at that later, maybe. Yeah, so there's a lot of these. So this is Tombstone Express. We'll narrow it down before we dig into it. We got 18 Tombstone Expresses. I don't know if that's good or bad. And pre-owned. Shipping's not going to be too painful on this, so we're looking at like 13. Yeah, 13. Let's see. So 18 for sale and 0 sold, although there's one in this lot. But here's the thing, when you source stuff, people are obviously buying these. So we're going to knock out Tombstone and just have game. We had 1,100 for sale. 113 sold, and these are not all this. So, yeah. They sell, but not stupendously. So we're going to have to do it cheap. But because we sourced it intelligently, I have to sell it for about $8 to break even. So I'm just going to sell it for $12. I know the cheapest one of these out there. So I don't make a ton of money, but I make something, and I can undercut everybody confidently. All right, so let's look at our last item. That is old ass, like Uno, what is this called? Deluxe Uno. Another sight unseen one. Uno stuff can do pretty good. There's a few derivatives of Uno. And that's true of like a lot of the classic games like Yahtzee, Uno. I guess just those, maybe. Sometimes they'll hit something and it really works. I don't know what Deluxe Uno is. It feels like it has chips or something in it. And it's old. It is from 1978, and I'm not going to take it off because I think maybe it makes it better. There is a sticker, which I believe is Woolworths, which is a store that doesn't exist anymore. And it's a department store. It says department number, so you can find it. And they paid $5.76 for it back in the day. So this sucks. They used packing tape on it. And these bottoms of these classic games with this white clear bottom, it's not adhered to the box itself well. It tends to rip off when you're taking any kind of resilient tape off of it. So hopefully I don't destroy it, but there's really nothing you can do other than cut it. But I don't like doing that. I like to try to get it as near factory settings as possible. It's totally going to rip, I bet. because they taped over other tape. This is not good. It's pulling some stuff off. And then on the box, that actually could have been a lot worse. These jackasses. So whoever brought it in looks like they taped it with Scotch tape. And then the people at the store were like, nah, we're going to tape over your Scotch tape with packing tape, so as this can remain pristine. Whatever. It's a nice place I go to. I shouldn't say the name on here because I don't think they like resellers. Their stores kind of don't. But they bring in some stuff. They do like the eBay thing with a lot of it, which is fine. But they don't seem to fuck with board games. They always just throw them up on the shelf. I've got some really good stuff out of there. I used to get really good toys, and I think they figured out that toys had value, and they started taking a better look at what came in. I got a Kobe Bryant like figure off of there that I bought for like $2 and sold for 55. A lot of really great toy bags, G.I. Joes, but they haven't put them up in years, so they gotta be stashing them. Anyways, it's not gonna be perfect, but we got it. Whatever that is, we got a rule book. Nice, you can get a Uno t-shirt here. $5. That's not a bad deal. You gotta add $1.50 for shipping though. So that's how old that is. You can ship a package for $1.50. Yeah. Okay, we got the original scorecards. Obviously somebody played this at some point, but it's really not missing too many. We got the cards, and I don't know what makes this deluxe. It looks just like Uno. The cards are in okay shape, but not great. So when in doubt, right? If I'm not sure something is complete, I go to eBay and I look and see if anybody's selling one that's complete. I look at it. Not to say everybody's always right. Sometimes they know more than me. So this box is not great. This corner's busted. This corner's busted. But overall, it's not too bad. So before we get too crazy with it, we're going to look up what we can get for here. So, Uno Deluxe 1978, or Deluxe Uno perhaps. 202. I am not liking the payout on this so far. People are asking real small money for it, and this is going to be tough to ship. I'm going to have to box it up. A still sealed one for 30, but yeah, we're seeing 15, and shipping is going to be at least 6. So this maybe wasn't a great pickup, but whatever. 202 for sale. 32 sold. 15 with the pad. Why does they keep putting this scooter mirror here? Because it's deluxe from that year. Okay, the search engine's reasonably confused, and that's okay. $11. The holder. The holder again. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to bother listing it because I don't want to have it sitting around. So we're just going to call that a mulligan because it was only $2 anyways. And good day, right? $6.40 spent, 35 profit, even just throwing this out. So I'll call that a win. So if you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.